Hey guys, so today I read through 1 Samuel 4 through 8. And in this section, Israel is dealing with the Philistines, and they are a nation of people who worship the god Dagon, and they are attacking and oppressing Israel, right? And so it says in verse 10 of chapter 7 that Samuel was offering up the burnt offerings. So Israel had repented of their sins, and they were asking God to intervene through Samuel. And so Samuel's offering these burnt offerings, and as he's doing this, the Philistines drew near to attack Israel. But the Lord thundered with a mighty sound that day against the Philistines and threw them into confusion, and they were defeated before Israel. But unfortunately, what happens later on is that Samuel gets old, and the people realize that he's not going to be around forever, and his sons aren't really doing a good job of being judges, and so they ask for a king like the other nations to be judge on their behalf. And the desire for a king is a good desire, but they wanted a king like the other nations, right? And so God says that this will bring them hardship, it will bring them trials, it will bring them suffering, and just a lot of pain and sorrow. But yet again, they still ask for this, and because of this, God promises that He will give them a king, and that Samuel will anoint him. But unfortunately, it's just sad because they say in verse 20, I guess starting in verse 19, there shall be a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. And so the problem is not that they want a king, it's that they want a king like the other nations that would judge and rule over them and fight our battles for us. And it's like, wait a second, God just fought the battle for you. He just protected you guys and just overthrew your enemies. You have no one who can do what God does, and yet you're asking for a human being to have that pressure. And so it's very clear that, God promises us promises, and those promises require trust. But if we don't trust Him, He will still give us the things we ask for, depending on the circumstances. But we won't necessarily like what we get, right? And so Jesus, He comes on the scene, centuries, decades, or centuries and millennia later, and He proves to be the greatest shepherd and the greatest king, and the ultimate fulfillment of all the promises that God ever gave to every human being on the planet. And it is still today our decision that we have to make. Will we trust God? Will we accept Him? Or will we go our own way, right? Because He is the true king. He is the true shepherd, and He's where the joy is.